Hi, thank you for joining the party and watching this live demo. I wanted to share with you one of my favorite products that Tupperware has, and it's the FridgeSmarts. And if you have ever had an issue with throwing away your produce because it went bad before you had a chance to use it, then you really want to listen to what I have to say. Tupperware worked with the University of Florida for over 3 years developing the first generation of this product. And actually the first generation, I have one here, had a vent system that was two buttons that would pivot. So you could adjust it in 3 different settings. Well, they do come off for easy cleaning, and I think a lot of people had an issue with losing them. So they redesigned the containers and came up with the one that we are currently selling. And it even went through a small change recently as well. So let me share with you a little bit about the FridgeSmarts. First of all, it's all about science. So Tupperware, like I said, worked with the University of Florida for 3 years, and they discovered that there's basically 3 breathing levels for your produce. There are low breathers and moderate breathers and heavy breathers, meaning that some of them require more oxygen than others. And you could actually be causing your produce to spoil faster by how you're storing it. And if you have one of the newer refrigerators that on the drawer it has the humidity control and you don't know how to set it, well, that's part of the issue. And this is our humidity control right here. So what they did was they discovered that they identified what items took what kind of breathing. So there are actually 4 columns on the containers. So your first column is your moderate breathers, and those require a little bit more oxygen. So you'll notice too that we have your vegetables on the top, the fruit on the bottom. And there's a reason for that, because you don't store fruits and vegetables together, because they can each emit a gas that can cause the other to spoil faster. So this in the upper right-hand corner has a circle, and it's half shaded, and it coordinates with the half circle symbol right here on the seal. So you just slide the vent to that setting, and whatever is in that category is going to be set on that vent setting. And that's going to keep it at its optimal moisture or optimal environment, sorry. And then there's also a built-in grid that attracts the natural condensation, because your produce is at least 75% moisture, so you don't want that to sit in its own moisture as it comes out of it, but you also don't want it to evaporate, because if it happens to be a crisp item and that evaporates, it's going to go limp. And if it happens to be a plump item, it's going to shrivel up. So you want to keep that natural moisture in there, but away from the food itself so it doesn't create any mildew or mold. And so then your second setting is your closed setting. So you'll see the circle is completely shaded, and that coordinates with the same symbol on the seal. So if you have seal where it says Tupperware here, and it is facing your storage chart, then you'll be able to identify easily how it's going to be set. And then you have your third setting, which is your third column there, and that is in the all the way open setting. And those are your heavy breathers. So you've got broccoli, corn, spinach, things like that, that need to have more oxygen. They're breathing more carbon dioxide and releasing their oxygen and that kind of thing. I get those mixed up, so if I said it wrong, excuse me. Anyway, and then you have your fourth column, fourth column is right there. And those are items that should not be stored in your refrigerator, and it's because they need to ripen at room temperature. So they are like eggplant, tomatoes, bananas, kiwi, I just forgot some of them, squash, avocados, pumpkin, and cherry tomatoes, and peaches and plums. So those are items that should not be stored. However, we did discover that because, bananas go bad so quickly that you can actually store bananas in a container and have the vent setting in the all the way open setting. So you won't have this one, but you're going to have it in the all the way open setting. So that's the one that's got the unshaded symbol. And then you're going to put that in there. Well, bananas are very gaseous, so they will emit a lot of moisture. And so you'll want to wipe down your container so you don't get mold growing on the peel itself. But you can put your fruit in here, your bananas green, which I bought green bananas 4 days ago. And you can see they're still partially green, okay? And they're ripening in the container, but at a slower rate. So that gives you more opportunity to eat them as opposed to throwing them away or making lots of banana bread and banana muffins or freezing it for your smoothies and that kind of thing, which is not a bad thing, okay? So that's just a little tip that I have. So we have different sizes of these. And so you can start with the starter set, which is our 4 pieces. It is 2 small deeps, a medium, okay, so this is the medium, and then a medium deep. And this would be ideal for your larger vegetables like your romaine hearts, if you buy a lot of apples, carrots, that kind of thing. And I store my strawberries in here, that way I can lay them in the tray and they're not stacked on one on top of the other. And I can keep my strawberries for about 2 weeks in here. And my lettuces will keep about 3 weeks. Broccoli and spinach are at least 2 weeks. Grapes are typically 3 weeks. Mushrooms are 3 to 4. Your fresh herbs are 3 to 4. So you can see that you're going to be extending the shelf life of your produce. Then we have the small deeps, which I already mentioned. And then we have an exclusive size, which is the small. Okay, and you can buy all of these individually. And the small sells for $15. The small deep is $20. The medium is $24. The medium deep is $29. But the starter set is $94. And that's really a great value so that you can get started and see what else you're going to need in the future. And then we have one just for this month, our exclusive size, which is our large. And I love this. I have my romaine hearts in here. And I bought these about 4 days ago. So you can see they're still nice and green and crisp and not wilted. And my setting is in the partially open setting. So there's a couple of keys to storing your produce to keep it last longer. One is to take it out of the wrapper that you brought it home in, and the other is to don't wash it until you're ready to eat it. Because when you wash off Mother Nature's protective coating, it will start to deteriorate within 48 hours. So that will help prevent that. However, if you want some fast grab snacks, so instead of going for the cookies and the chips and the crackers and the nuts, and you want to go for the fruits and the veggies, take a small quantity and cut that and wash it. And you can store it in a small container away from the rest of the batch that hasn't been cleaned and washed. Okay, I mean cleaned and cut. And so that way, these are easy grab to go snacks, so especially if you're packing lunches and that kind of thing. So I want to suggest that you actually take advantage of trying these. And I recommend trying the starter set only because if you try one container, whatever is in that container will definitely outlast everything else in your fridge. And the fresher the produce, the longer it will keep. So if you're typically buying from a farmer's market, that's the freshest, unless you're growing it yourself and you're going to get a longer shelf life out of them. But if you're buying from the supermarket, you're looking at, some extra time added to those items as well from not using the containers. So thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something new about your produce. And stay tuned, I'll be sharing more later. Bye.